Okay, good morning everyone. We're continuing in Mishna Daf Hashavua. We're middle of Siman Peites, Sif Gimel. The Mechaber said that it is usher to be engaged in any of one's business or to go on the road until he davens Shemaina Esrei. Okay, and one should not eat, one should not drink. Water is mutter before davening, whether it's during the week or whether it's Shabbos. And medicine or food or drink l'rafua is mutter. We're middle of Mishna Berura, Sivkatan Chaf Beis. And the Mishna Berura began by saying that water is not shaykh gaiva, but the Mishna Berura said that's without sugar. With sugar, it's usher. Certainly beer is usher. Tea and coffee, the Mishna Berura said, you're allowed to drink before davening in order to be able to focus, especially in places where people are used to drinking them and one cannot have their mind at ease without them. But the Mishna Berura says that's without sugar and without milk. The Mishna Berura does acknowledge the minhag ha'olam is to have it with sugar. It could be that when the Achroinim and the Ravaz write that the biggest gaiva is with sugar, that's if you put the sugar in the tea. But if you put a little bit in your mouth, otherwise you can't drink it, that's not considered gaiva. Bottom line is, let's continue from the second wide line in the Mishna Berura. Hayotzim midvarenu, de benesinas hatzukar b'toich hati, oilecha ma'at minei targima be'es hashtia, to put the sugar in the tea, or to have a little cake while you're drinking, kedei shaloi lishtois hati va'kofei ali b'reikana, so as not to have the tea and coffee on an empty stomach. Ein shum tzad lahakol b'zeh kadem atfila. There is no tzad you could be lenient. Unless somebody is very weak, and they need it l'rafua. So even though on Friday we did point out that according to the Ikar Hadin of the Mishna Berura, one should not put sugar and milk into their coffee, although we did say that many poskim are lenient. Nevertheless, if somebody has a medical condition, on the other, it's not necessarily the time to be a hero. In other words, somebody's diabetic and they need to eat before davening. Otherwise, they're mamish, they have excessive weakness. Then they're allowed to. It's not even a kula, because for them it's not gaiva. It's not like they're not just making themselves comfortable. They're alleviating a real situation. If you're going to eat before davening, for refuah, you should at least say the parsha of Shema, which is interesting. Are you saying all three parshas of Shema? He doesn't say to say all three parshas of Shema. He says the parsha. The Dirshu says this is Mashna, this is not a chiyuv, and it sounds like it's enough by just saying the first parsha. The Machon Maggid also writes to at least say the first parsha. In Machon Maggid Perek Beis Halacha Beis, but in Sefer Nidchei Yisrael he writes that it's not enough just to say the first parsha of Shema. If you need to eat l'rafua, as long as you say Kriya Shema and put on tefillin, but otherwise you can't eat. In other words, if you want to have milk in your coffee, no problem. Just put on your tefillin and say Shema first. Rav Shlomo Zalman explains that you have to say, there he's talking about actually eating. So if you're actually going to eat, in other words, if somebody is really weak, and they're going to actually eat, in other words, they're going to eat breakfast, they should put on their tefillin and say all three parshias. If you're just going to have a little piece of cake because you're weak, then you don't have to say all three parshias, just one, and that's not required, it's just toiv. So it's very interesting. So again, the best situation is wake up in the morning, have water, or have black coffee. Then you don't have to do anything. Then you can just go to shul. But if you're going to have, let's say a person's very weak, or let's say he knows the davening is so painfully long that you're going to strangle the chazan. You're going to take a belt, and now that's not going to be a good thing. We don't want you strangling the chazan in the shul. It won't be good for the chazan. It won't be good for the chazan's family. Chazan's family is expecting him to return home after the davening. So in that case, if the only way to do that is you can have a little piece of cake, I'm talking about, let's say, during the week, then you would say 3 parshas of Shema. If you just need a little bit of cake, just say the first parsha of Shema. If you're going to strangle the chazan unless you eat breakfast, or you can be really weak, so if you want breakfast you're going to have to put on tefillin and say 3 parshas of Shema. That's how Rav Shlomo Zalman learns. In the Seif Siach Halacha, he brings that according to Rav Shlomo Zalman Auerbach, if you're only having cake and then saying Shema is only toiv, have kavana not to be yoitzi then, so that you could be yoitzi with the brachos. Rabbi Yoshev seems like he holds that you should actually be yoitze on some level with the recitation of that one parsha. Okay, weiter in the Mishnah Berura. Kasa b'sefer Pischei Tshuva HaChadash. Diyesh l'mnoya milishtos hati b'boker kadon atril basivas chaverim. You want to drink coffee? Not in the coffee room with the guys. You can't drink in, by the cooler. Ayin sham tamai, because it's a kviyas. And umilvadze, besides this, ragel is stoif mizeh isser acher. Another isser will branch out from it. The Rajba, Berura in the Beis Yosef, says the reason why you can't involve yourself in your needs before davening, so that you do not turn to any matter before you daven. You cannot get involved and delay in other matters before you daven. So if you're going to hang around with the guys while you're drinking the tea, through the abundance of conversation, it is likely you're going to end up violating the Zman Kriya Shema. Okay. Now, water you can have during the week and Shabbos. Kalaymar, Deloy Tema de B'Shabbos Aser Belav Hachi. Don't say that on Shabbos it's Aser. Mishum the Aser Litam Kaidem Kiddush, because you're not allowed to eat before Kiddush. Kamash Malon, De Einoy Aser Rak Dafka B'Shigiyas Man Kiddush. You're only not allowed to drink water when the Zman Kiddush comes. V'hacha Kivin Shalei Yispalel. Here, since you didn't daven, Lo Yigia Dayin Zman Kiddush. The Zman Kiddush didn't come. Now, this is if you're healthy and all you need is some water. But what if you're a chayla and you need to eat before davening? The Be'er Halacha says in Siman Reish Pei Tes, you would have to make Kiddush. Does a woman who wants to eat before her husband comes home have to make Kiddush? Yeah, Shabbos morning. The husband comes home 12 o'clock. The wife's starving. She's been up with the kids since 7 a.m. Does she have to make Kiddush? Rav Moshe has a Kiddush. She doesn't have to make a Kiddush. Why? Because she's not supposed to eat. Her Zman Suda is when the husband comes home. So it's not the Zman Suda yet. So there's no Chiyuv Kiddush. Yeah, l'chara yesh lismay chazeh. But better to tell your wife to make Kiddush. If your wife wants to eat, better for her to make Kiddush. Fine. Va'achar tfilas musaf asr mishum Kiddush. After musaf, you can't drink water because of Kiddush. Kaida musaf, before musaf, ayin siman reish pei vav sif gimel. Mutter, oichlin and mashkin lefroz mutter, afilu achal and mashkin toivim. Even good food, the shaykh b'hu gaiva, that ordinarily if you would eat it, it would be arrogant. Kivan she'eno oisem mishum gaiva elafu, you're doing it for health. Afal pi she'eno chayla gamor, even though you're not a complete chayla shari. V'kol shekein shemutter lishtois kaidem atfila, Harakois v'shikuyin l'rafua. Certainly you're allowed to drink before davening harakois. Anybody know what harakois are? Some kind of, I don't know, some kind of medicinal liquid. V'shikuyim, and an elixir. You could have in other words, you want to have a liquid antibiotic, you're allowed to have that before davening. Are you allowed to take vitamins before davening? The Aruch HaShulchan says mutter. Are you allowed to do exercise before davening? Rav Scheinberg says, if you can't do it after that, and why are you doing it? To be mechazik your guf, to strengthen your bones. Rav Scheinberg says if you can't do it after davening, you can do it before davening. And he says you don't even have to say Shema first. Achila is a Maisa Gaiva, says Rav Scheinberg. Exercise is not a Maisa Gaiva. Are you allowed to chew on licorice that you're not going to eat? This will minimize the amount of spitting you have to do during the davening. Back in the day, spitting was a big pastime. People loved to spit, cough up phlegm, expectorate. There's a lot of stuff being brought up during the davening. So if you need to chew on something to eliminate this, but I don't think that's nageh anymore. Okay, weiter, Sif Daled. Hatzameh, someone who's dehydrated, very thirsty. Varav, someone who's starving. Harehim b'chlal achayim, they're ill. They're included in the ill. If they're able to focus, they should daven. V'imlav, otherwise, imratza, if they want, al yisrael shiyach v'yishteh. So in other words, you don't have to be ill to eat and drink. What if you're excessively hungry and thirsty? In other words, you can't concentrate. Let's say like this, I'll give you an example. Let's say somebody wasn't feeling well Friday night, and they went to sleep Friday at 12 o'clock. They woke up Shabbos morning. They feel fine now. They're just starving. And they go to shul, and they're going to be going out of their kalim. I mean, they'll be able to daven, but they'll be, it'll be very uncomfortable. I don't want to say they'll be uncomfortable. They're allowed to eat before davening. They're allowed to drink before davening. Here's my shaila. You ready for the big shaila of the day? What are you allowed to have? How about seltzer? Well, you could have seltzer. Why not? Well, no issa bubbles. But you're not allowed to put sugar in it. What about diet soda? Now, according to the Mishnah Berura, you're not allowed to put sugar. There's no sugar in it. You're allowed to. There's no isser caffeine. That we know, right? You could have black coffee. So what I want to have Diet Coke. I want to have a Coke Zero. Am I allowed to have a Coke Zero before davening?
What's the difference, sugar or like leaf sugar?
The very big difference. Sugar is food. Sugar gives you energy. Sugar is achila. Diet, you have Coke Zero and you're hungry, you'll be hungry. You have regular Coke and you're hungry, you won't be hungry.
If that's the case, you should be able to put Splenda or Sucrazit in coffee.
Yeah, okay. Again, that's without the milk, right? Without the milk. Okay, so seltzer, you're allowed to have. What about Coke Zero? According to the Mishnah Berura, would the Mishnah Berura allow you to have Coke Zero? So you say, well, he doesn't say it. They didn't invent Coke Zero. On the other hand, nobody ever saw, the Mishnah Berura himself never had Coke Zero before davening also. I don't know. L'chayra, is it gaiva? I don't know if the Mishnah Berura would go for it. Okay. Says the Mishnah Berura, v'haroiv harbe, not a little bit hungry, very hungry. Very hungry. V'yishta, you should eat or drink. Now, mashna she'ena mechuyav. You don't have to drink if you're thirsty. Don't be a big tzaddik and say, really I don't want to put milk in my coffee, but I won't be able to have such big kavana if I don't put milk in my coffee. Pal, you don't have kavana anyway. You're not thinking anyway about it. Even with milk and you put in the creamer and all your stuff, you're still not having. If you want to eat and drink, to be mechavein is permitted. Yeah, we'll hold it over here. Rabbi say, have a great day.
I heard an interesting shayla. Someone forgot Kiddush Friday night, went to sleep early, and he didn't hear Kiddush Friday night. Now this morning, he wants to have a coffee. He didn't hear Kiddush. He just made Kiddush, but he can't have wine now. So it's not this man Kiddush for the day. What's he supposed to do? He probably can't have a coffee that morning, right?
Recording stopped.